If you guys are looking for some coins to get the best FIFA 18 squads, then check out mulefactory.com. They're the cheapest site I found for coins. They deliver in 5 minutes. Now they even pay you back for your card, cover your 5% transfer fee with a brand new player auction wizard. And if you use TGC Kurt5 at checkout, you get 5% off your order. Check them out with the link down below now. What's up guys, Curtis here and welcome to a brand new FIFA 10 to FIFA 18 episode. Today we're going to be looking at the second part of the England 23-man squad that are heading over to Russia for the 2018 World Cup. Now if you haven't caught the first episode, there will probably be a link down below, or you can head over to my channel to see the first part. There's players like Harry Kane, Kyle Walker, Jack Butland, some really interesting ones where we look back at their history. But today we're going to be looking at the remainder of that team. But before we get into it, I've got a couple little requests to ask of you guys. First of all, if you could please comment down below with any teams like this you would like to see me do in this episode, and thumb up the ones that you would like to see. Obviously we've done the Liverpool Champions League final squad, some really cool ones. Let me know down below who you would like to see me do and I will endeavour to get them done. But without any further ado, let's get into it. I should probably tell you to like the video and all that stuff, but whatever, you do it if you like. We'll start off with the goalie, and that's going to be Nick Pope for this episode. Nick Pope, just like almost everyone in the previous episode, started in FIFA 13 at a lower league club. Like every England player came on FIFA and FIFA 13 other than like Gary Cahill and Kyle Walker. That's basically it. But shocking card for the first few seasons. Got a bit of an upgrade. Then he's finally at Burnley for FIFA 16. He's always going to be behind Tom Heaton, really. And then Tom Heaton got injured. Turns out, Burnley have two quality goalkeepers. I don't know what they're putting in their gloves up there. But flipping heck, these two goalies have been absolutely fantastic. Nick Pope has ended up getting an England call-up. Tom Heaton must be fuming because he was incredible last year. And then he got injured. He can't get back in the Burnley squad. He's not getting in the England squad. It's unbelievable. He is the second choice. He's like the first refusal. He's the backup. I can't think the actual word. But absolute madness for poor Tom Heaton. But anyway, Nick Pope, in you come. I'm going to go to right back now. Trent Alexander-Arnold. If you guys caught the Liverpool version of this the other day, then this is probably not going to be of too much interest to you. It's quite a quick one anyway with Trent Alexander-Arnold. Obviously, he's got his man of the match card there from the Champions League. But easy enough, you can see his two cards on the screen already. I may as well slide that across. 68 rated right mid last season, 68 rated right back this season. I'm sure we're going to see him go up to at least a 74, maybe higher, depending on how generous EA are being. Should probably get a gold if they win the Champions League, you'd imagine. So he's been a vital part of the campaign, especially the second half of the season. But we won't dawdle on him for too long because we have players to look at. And we're going to move on now to Philip Jones. Phil Jones, the king of the awful mugshot. He always has a bizarre face on the go for every one of his pictures. And Phil Jones, here you go. Come on down, son. FIFA 11, he was at Blackburn. Remember it quite well. A couple of seasons there, and he moved to Man United in FIFA 12. He's now played 145 league games for United, spanning across all of these seasons. He's actually been alright in FIFA, other than FIFA 14 when they made him a right back. Some really interesting ones. He's obviously gone downhill massively the last couple of seasons. You're not really going to use that card, but I remember FIFA 13 in particular, he was definitely a usable centre-back, and some interesting links, but pretty boring history for him. Again, another one that's come in through the lower leagues and ended up at a top club. An interesting strategy, and fair play to some of the English sides. Now we're going to move on to Danny Rose. I'm going to go over to right back. We may not have enough defenders to fill out the back four right here, but 82 rated Danny Rose. He started off, I believe that's at Bristol City, I could be wrong, as a left winger in FIFA 11, moved to Tottenham. That might have only been on loan, I'm not entirely sure, I think it's very possible. Went back on loan to Sunderland in FIFA 13, returned to FIFA 14, and of course, kind of from FIFA 15 onwards, he started to like hold that position down on his own. He's been a gold for the last few seasons, had a couple of upgrades, and here he is now, FIFA 18, and he said FIFA 12, FIFA 18 as an 82 rated card. Shame his pace isn't a little bit higher, he probably would be a bit more usable in FIFA, but his actual technical stats are pretty strong, so he's not the worst in the world. But we do actually have to return for another Tottenham fullback, and we're going to go for Kieran Trippier. Now, Trippier, in my opinion, should be the starting right back. A few people think maybe Trent Alexander-Arnold, but I think he'll. Sorry, this is if Kyle Walker plays centrally in a back five. If Kyle Walker should obviously start if that's not the case, just to clarify. But Kieran Trippier, fantastic little player. Started off at Barnsley in FIFA 11. I really rate him. I think he's a decent talent. Went to Burnley like a lot of the players in this squad, and he's had quite a few seasons there. Made his move in FIFA 16 where he's kind of playing under Kyle Walker. That was the case again for FIFA 17, but then this year he's been able to get the free run at that spot, and he's been the number one for the majority of the season at that right back spot. Again, not too much changed his past. Started off FIFA 11, FIFA 12 sort of period, came up the ranks and ended up at a relatively big club. Same for a lot of these players. It's really bizarre how the English talent is so unimaginative in their transfers. It's League One, Championship, Premier League, and that's the route to the England national team. There's nothing more than that. But we are going to have a player that does break the mould very shortly. But next up, we have Ashley Young. A little stat for you guys here. Ashley Young is the first player called Young to be the oldest player in a World Cup squad since Choi Young-il in 1998. Little stat for you there. First time ever being called up to the England national team. Sorry, that's not true. For a World Cup squad, he's been to the Euros. Got to get that right. Ashley Young, left winger in FIFA 10, left winger in FIFA 12, FIFA 11, sorry, and kind of stayed out left for a long time on the wing for Man United before being repurposed into that left back role during kind of halfway through last season. They didn't like Darmian. They were struggling to that position. Luke Shaw was not in Mourinho's books, so Ashley Young went back and filled in at left back, and he's played there ever since. And he's been pretty solid for Man United, getting in the team of the season this year. Kind of like Valencia's transition back to a fullback. Very, very useful for the squad, a good utility player to have, and you've still got his attacking abilities going forward. And I think that's got a lot to do with why he's in this England squad, because we can utilise him in a lot of different ways. We can play him as a left wing back in a 5, you can play him as a left back in a 4, because he does have some good defensive nous. Then also, if we want to play him further forward in a 4-4-2, a 4-2-3-1, a 4-3-3 in left mid or left wing, he has got it covered. And even particularly if we're struggling against a big side to hold a lead, say we're playing against Belgium and we're 1-0 up, he could be a good option to come and kind of sit in front of a fullback and give us that extra bit of defensive protection almost, which is always good to have against a bigger side. But anyway, we're going to move on for Ashley Young to Eric Dyer. Now this is one of the more interesting ones. So Eric Dyer, of course, started off at Everton, as I'm sure some of you guys know. He never really did break it into their squad. I'm going to just load up his entire career history so I don't miss a thing out. But he started off just on loan. Sorry, that was just on loan at Everton because he was owned by Sporting. He returned to Sporting after that loan, and quite bizarrely, didn't have a FIFA 13 card. Now, I think Sporting may not have been licensed in the game. Could be wrong, but I can't remember exactly why, wasn't it? I think it was that. But then, of course, for FIFA 14, I think the license returned. Again, could be wrong on this one. That's what in my memory is the reason why I wasn't there, but I could be wrong. But as always, like I said, it's nice to see an English player playing abroad. He's actually got 25 caps for England now, which is absolutely crazy to me. But returned to England to play for Tottenham Hotspur. Been a defensive mid a lot of the time. He's played as a centre back as part of a back 5, but for the most part, I don't think he should be down as a centre back. I don't know. I think that's another reason why he's in the England squad. He's a great utility player. He can play as centre back, CDM, centre mid, kinda fill in wherever. And if we really had an injury crisis, he could go right back, because he's played there a few times in the past as well. But anyway, enough about Eric Dyer. Let's move on to the main event for the day. We want big Jesse Lingard. I mean, he's not the main event, but he's a bit of fun. Jesse Lingard was at Brighton back in FIFA 14. I think he also went on loan to Birmingham in the same season. But as you can see, he's had a strong season now, and he's got some good cards on FIFA. 382 rated. Don't know why you need that many. Calm down, mate. But 63 rated at Brighton back in FIFA 14. Of course, went on loan to Derby in FIFA 15. His card's still not very good. Returned to United, and typical with a lot of strong... I don't mean strong as in strength, I mean as in good central attacking midfielders with a bit of pace. They get farmed out wide. If you can't, it's so hard. For example, if Mesut Ozil's in your squad, you're never really going to get in that team. That's why players like Santi Cazorla were pushed out left. Even though he wasn't the quickest, if there's someone that suits the centre more often, you will just be farmed out to the left. And that's kind of what happened with Jesse Lingard. He played on the right a bit too. Of course, he got the man of the match in the FA Cup. He's a strong player over the last few seasons. But He's kind of returned centrally this year. He's had a bit of a renaissance period, particularly Christmas, January, February was really strong. He was just scoring constantly, scoring for absolute fun. And I think that's kind of what playing in the middle has done for him. Although, now that Sanchez returned to the squad, not as much of a starting berth, but still pretty regular in that United squad. We're going to move him up to camp because we're going to go for Ruben Loftus-Cheek as our next one. Now, this one for me, I find this quite funny. Ruben Loftus-Cheek is, he's an ex-Chelsea. Ruben Loftus-Cheek is a funny one. Now, he's obviously on loan from Chelsea, but for me, the funny part is they let both him and Nathaniel Chalobah go, and then spent 50 million quid on Drinkwater and Ross Barkley. Neither of them have made it into the squad, and Ruben Loftus-Cheek have. I mean, that's a bit of a disaster, really. Loftus-Cheek, he's been decent for Palace this year. Big improvement, but obviously he's just been sat at Chelsea for a few seasons. Always one of their more promising young players. A lot of hype around him and excitement. And obviously he's up to a 64 rated card for this season at Crystal Palace. But now, we're going to move on to one of our two forwards, and that is Raheem Sterling. This is one, again, there's a couple of Liverpool ones in this squad and City ones. If you've seen the Man City or the Liverpool one, then this one isn't really for you. We'll skim through it quite quickly because, like I said, we've already covered this one in the in the Man City episode. But nonetheless, Raheem Sterling started off as a left winger, switched left and right for a few seasons before his move to Man City. It's pretty solid that he was going to be staying on the left, but then of course Sané's come in and there's so much competition out there. He's gone onto the right and he's been so strong. Something that I found really interesting, I'm not sure if it's still the same situation, but by February, March, I think it was 90% of his goals had been scored with him being stood between the two posts, if that makes sense. So he's drifted inside from the right and then opened his body up and basically just had a direct shot on goal. So really interesting the route he takes playing on the right. Typically you'd find that as a right foot on the left, they'd come inside. But he's a really weird inverse of it where he comes so far in, he can then open his body back up. Really, really cool little thing, and definitely down to Guardiola's training. But obviously up to an 84 rated player this season. And again, another pretty exciting one. But we're going to finish off now with Jamie Vardy. Jamie Vardy's having a party. What a guy. Obviously, as I mentioned in the previous episode, spent a little bit of time at Leicester with Harry Kane, of all people. We know his meteoric rise started off, of course, at Fleetwood many years ago, and then got his move to Leicester, and he's slowly risen through the ranks. I mean, so glad he changed that card from FIFA 13 to 14 because it was absolutely shocking. But I had that FIFA 16 season where he burst onto the scene, of course, and then they won the flipping league. He ended up 82 rated. He's 81 rated now. He's had a great season. He's scored a lot of goals. I can't remember if he's hit 20 yet, but I'm definitely sure he's over like 16. And it makes me wonder if he's actually finally going to get that move. There was all the talk of the Arsenal move a little while ago. I wonder if he's actually going to get that move away from Leicester, or if he's just going to stick it out there now. I feel like once you've set your stall that you're going to stay there for a bit, it's a little bit harder to leave. He withdrew his transfer request, all that sort of thing. So I wonder if he's going to stay there with Mahrez and see how they get on for the next couple of seasons. But that, guys, actually brings us to the end of this episode. That's the 23-man England squad covered, complete. If you haven't checked out the first episode, there will be a link down below, or you can head over to my channel to go and find that. And of course, if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like. Comment down below with future sides you'd like to see me take a look at. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye, guys.